Hi, my name is Abhinav Shubham. I'm a final year PhD student at Georgia Institute of Technology and an incoming assistant professor in the OBAIS department at University of Cincinnati.
Hi everyone, my name is Ruby Han. I just graduated from the University of South Carolina, and I'll be joining Clemson University this fall as an assistant professor. And today, Abhinav and I are going to be talking about a very important topic in operations management, data collection. And specifically, we're going to be talking about archival and data scraping.
In operations management, data collection plays a critical role in understanding processes, making decisions, and improving organizational performance. In this video, we will cover two key data collection methods: archival data, both public and proprietary, and data scraping. This video is produced for the Doctorate in Operations Management Embassy project as part of a video series on research methods in operations management.
Archival data refers to pre-existing data collected and stored by organizations, governments, and other institutions. This data comes in two main forms, public and proprietary. We will first talk about public data. Public archival data is available to everyone, and common sources include government agencies, such as the demographics data from the US Census Bureau or labor and economic data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. International organizations like the World Bank and the United Nations, they also maintain repositories of data on global development and macroeconomic indicators in several global socioeconomic statistics. Researchers can also access a wide array of economic, demographic, and enterprise data from the Public Use Data Archive of the National Bureau of Economic Research. And finally, researchers may also collect licensed data from sources such as CompuStat, Words, and S&P Global. Many OM publications use data from these licensed sources.
Next, we will touch upon accessing public records through FOIA requests. So sometimes public data isn't readily available, but you can request it through the Freedom of Information Act or FOIA in the United States. FOIA allows researchers and public to request access to federal government records that aren't confidential. Researchers can use FOIA to obtain data on topics like public health and safety, transportation systems, and organizational performance. However, keep in mind that FOIA requests can take time to process and may be subject to redactions for privacy and security reasons. Researchers must also respect legal boundaries, including privacy and national security restrictions on data disclosure.
So next, we will move on to proprietary data. These data are collected and maintained internally by companies. Examples would include transaction data, sales, and inventory records. This type of data is considered confidential, and access to this data typically requires partnerships or formal agreements with these organizations.
Both types of archival data have their advantages and disadvantages. The, these are the following key advantages of archival data. Data collected from multiple archival sources often cover many different aspects of the study context and enables researchers to broaden the scope of their examination. Archival data enables researchers to study phenomena over time through longitudinal studies. This also helps researchers embed historical context in their analysis and takeaways. Finally, working with secondary archival sources is usually more cost-effective than collecting new data through surveys or experiments. The process of interacting with the data owner also allows you to deeply understand the context and come up with relevant research topics.
However, researchers should also be mindful that archival data can be messy, requiring extensive efforts and time to clean the data. Researchers also need to spend considerable effort understanding the data generating and collecting processes to understand the potential sources biases and selection arising from the data. Several potential challenges may arise if there are systemic changes into the data collection processes or record keeping processes over the span of the time of the data archive. When archival data isn't available or comprehensive enough, Researchers can collect the data directly from the web using a technique called data scraping. Data scraping automates the process of extracting large volumes of data from websites. Researchers might scrape e-commerce sites to gather product prices and inventory data, and other examples include scraping social media websites, Google search listings, and websites like Glassdoor for employee reviews, or scraping public government websites for real-time performance data. While data scraping can be powerful, it must be conducted ethically and legally. Researchers should always check a website's terms of service and ensure compliance with privacy regulations. Unauthorized data collection can lead to serious legal consequences and ethical concerns, especially when dealing with personal or sensitive information.
Both archival and scrape data can provide rich insights in operations management. Archival data helps us understand historical trends and operational performance. For example, researchers may analyze publicly available data from the EPA to identify long-term trends in operational practices and toxic waste releases by industrial facilities. Meanwhile, scraping allows us to collect real-time information from dynamic environments like online marketplaces and social media, which can be crucial for time-sensitive studies. Combining these data sources enables researchers to answer complex questions, validate models, and make evidence-based recommendations.
So to summarize, here are the common data sources that is used in operations management research. First, public archives, such as the U.S. Census Bureau, Bureau of Labor Statistics, World Bank, and industry reports. Proprietary data, we have company records, internal databases, or transaction logs. And last but not least, scripted data. You can always scrape online e-commerce websites, review platforms, social media, and public dashboards. In conclusion, data collection is a vital component of research in operations management. By using public, proprietary, and scripted data, we can uncover valuable insights that drive innovation and operational success. No matter what you do, however, don't allow convenience in data collection to drive your research question. Well thought out research begins with motivation to make a contribution that is relevant to practice and scholarship, and data collection should only be a means to an end. Are you interested in learning more? Explore the other videos in our series on research methods in OM.
Thank you.